Hey guys, Thomas from Team Sakuraso here, and another year, another Yu-Gi-Oh! Product tier list. This year has been filled with a lot of good products and some absolute wastes of time. As you guys see, it's its own special category and it will be used. I'm not going to bore you guys with details. I'm just going to get right into it. Just smash that like button, subscribe, let me know also what you guys think is the best product, the worst product. If you agree, disagree with my takes, check out our sponsors, TCG Player and whatnot. And thank you to all my YouTube channel members. I appreciate you guys a lot. And join our Discord. But with that being said, we're gonna get right into this here. So first, I'm gonna go kind of out of the way in order here. I actually want to go over the 2-player starter set because I want to start this hot. This is an absolute waste of time. When this first came out, I had so many people, especially like online on Twitter, saying, no, this is for newer players. This isn't for the existing players. And I always had this discussion where, okay, first of all, it's not a reprint set. Okay, cool. Because a lot of the cards printed in this were really bad. And they served either no purpose or were already extremely cheap to begin with. The only card was Zeus, and we already had like $10 copies of it anyway, so this printing didn't really do much. But the biggest reason I find this an absolute waste of time is because of its goals. Its goals were to introduce new players into the game, someone who, wow, this looks fun, maybe I'll get it with another person, try playing. Then they get into the game. That was the goal of this product. It was not reprints, it was not anything else. However, you still gotta look at the reprints of this set, and they were bad, so I needed to mention that. On the front of getting players into the game, this did not do anything near what Master Duel did, and Master Duel did and I don't blame Master Duel about this, I kind of blame the game. Master Duel did not do a great job on getting players from Master Duel to playing the TCG, and when they did, almost all of them quit. This did not serve the purpose of getting players into the game at all, and it is just a wasted product that I still see on shelves to this day. It failed its goal, and it didn't do anything else well. Waste of time. And that's what I'm gonna say. Now, let's have fun here. Let's go over Rarity Collection 2. Now, Rarity Collection 2, in my personal opinion, is actually a tier set. Now, I think it was a really good set because while it cannot hold a candle to Rarity 1, and I agree with, and I'll always say this, Rarity 1 is better than Rarity 2, and you guys will see how I think of Stampede versus Rarity 1 in a second here. But it's a good set. It has a lot of staples. Crow, Ogre, Ultimate Slayer. There's just so many I can't even like remember all of them. Solemn Strike, Enemy Controller, Emergency Teleport. It hits everything it needs to. Solemn Judgment is another one. The set, however, I do need to state this, it also fixed a lot of problems from Rarity 1. Even though I still think Rarity 1 is better, these CRs, if you guys don't know, those are the Prismatic collector rares, had an issue in Rarity 1 where they used to stick to the sleeve and it could damage the card. It was really sticky and it sucked. Rarity 2 did not have that problem. The product quality in Rarity 2 was a lot better, and I really like that. They also changed it up. Instead of having 3 QCs a box, it was 4 QCs, which I like. They changed Platinum Rares. Now, I have to admit, this is a hot take, I love Rarity 1's Platinum Rares. They look really good. I liked how simple it was, and I don't like that they removed it. However, the majority of the player base prefers the Platinums in Rarity 2. And I think that's because they're like QCs, but extremely cheap. And that's what they are. They're kind of knockoff QCs. Why spend, say, $40 on a QC when you could spend $4 or $5 on a plat, and you can get a playset at less than half of what a QC is? And that's very alluring to a lot of players, and I fully understand that, and I'm not going to take that away from them. I still miss the OG plats, and plus Platinum versus QC, they're very similar as well. I don't like rarities that are very closely to each other, but the player base likes it. It does have its advantages, and even I have taken advantage of these Platinum rares. But there's a lot of great staples in this set. They made a great set. Not going to deny it all. A-tier set. Beautiful. We're going to save Rarity Collection 3 for a little bit later. And I want to actually go over Maze of, I believe this is Millennia, whatever it's called. So I'm going to give this kind of a C here. And the reason why I'm going to give it a C is because, actually, you know what? because no, this didn't have terahertz. I'm gonna stick with a C. Now the reason why I'm giving this a C is because this set is average because it had a lot of lows but some big highs. The big highs were Bonfire and Transaction Rollback. Bonfire, obviously being able to search, it made Snake Eye what it was as a meta deck. Bonfire was a amazing card to add to the game, and it's done a lot being a Rhoda. It still sees play with Ryzel or Ryzeal, however you want to say it. And Transaction Rollback was good for trap decks. Lab played with it for a bit. Was it making waves like Bonfire? Not even close, to be honest with you here. I actually feel like Transaction Rollback as a card kind of fell off the hype, but I think it was very overhyped to begin with. But it is still a fantastic revolutionary card. But people were putting it on the level of Bonfire for the year of 2024, and I knew which one was going to come out on top by miles, and it did. The issue is with this set is the lows were very low. We got, Flame Swordsman, all that to appeal to DM collectors, but this set was really a Bonfire / Transaction Rollback or bust. As well as this set kind of got overshadowed because Bonfire got a QC and it got more upgrades and reprints very quickly. So the opening value of this set kind of kept going down. I personally like this set because it had Earthbound Immortal support, and I actually personally like that a lot. It had Pascal. I can't put this any higher than a C. It definitely had some great stuff. Like Bonfire by itself would be like an S tier addition to the game. But if I look at this whole side set and all I really see is Bonfire, Transaction Rollback, and then, support for Legacy, the highest I could kind of put it at C is because you could really neg with this box and still can. The next set we're going to have here is actually, I want to give some glazing here. I want to go Crossover Breaker. I want to put this as an S tier set because 2 out of the 3 decks are meta relevant and have a huge fan base. Ryzel has a huge fan base. Malice has a high fan base. I can see these decks seeing play for the rest of Yu-Gi-Oh's time, even in the future, even if these decks fall off, because they'll be fan favorites. And people really like it. You have a waifu deck, you have a robot, a mecha deck, and then you have a big ass creature deck, right? This is how every deck building set should be, right? Appealing to everybody. But the big reason why I really like this is because it actually fixed the formula of deck building sets, and that's what really puts it in the S tier for me. Because if you guys remember, our deck building sets felt awful to open. You got 3 Ultras a box, and then the chance at a CR, a Valiant Smashers, which I thought it came out in 2024. It's actually a 2023 set in November. So that's why you guys, if you're guys wondering, where's Valiant Smashers? Hey, I thought it was 2024 too. But that set introduced, hey, let's have a QC every case to kind of help out. And the archetypes were actually very good, but Valiant Smasher still did not perform to the levels people wanted it to. And Crossover Breakers has. People, stores have sold out of Crossover Breakers. And it's been a long time since a deck building set has managed to do so, to sell as quickly as it has. And they fixed it by giving us 4 Ultras instead of 3. Very big upgrade. I think they should have upped the Ultra pool a little bit, maybe to like 11 per se. Like, I think that would be very fair. Yeah, heck, even 12 wouldn't have been awful, but still 10's very good because now you are pulling every deck in a deck building set, if not more of it. And that's was the purpose. We used to get deck building sets where you might not pull everything you need for a certain deck, and it kind of defeats the purpose. Now you're pulling like a core and a half of all these decks, so you can trade them to other people. Hey, I want another, Mouse core. You have half of this Ryzel core I want, and it's awesome, right? You're pulling it. The boxes have more value, and they've added QCs to every case and have upped the pool. So every set has value in its QC. Your QC can save your case by a large margin, and when you open it, you have guaranteed value. And with it being around that $800, $900 for a case, and you're pulling that, if not a lot more, it was awesome. And I actually opened up 2 cases because of that. So fixing deck building sets and giving us what they have is an automatic S to me. If you are changing the formula for the better, I really do factor that in. Let's go over Infinite Forbidden. Now, Infinite Forbidden, I'm also going to put this kind of in an A slot. And you guys are going to think I'm a little hypocritical for what I'm about to say, but hear me out. So, first we have Fiendsmith, right? Meta relevant, we know that all. Then we had the Exodia deck, and this helped bring a lot of boomers kind of back because they're like, they get to play Exodia, as well as the DM stuff sold very well. Now, so like Flaming Swordsman and Millennia and Eye stuff like this, and this is why I think that some people may call me a hypocrite. Yeah, that'll help sell a set to a point, but not as much as something like Exodia or Blue Eyes will. This set also had a lot of other cards. It had the debut of White Forest. I believe it also had Azamina cards, which were great, and those actually helped because Snake Eyes was playing it with Azamina. We had, again, like I said, the Exodia stuff. In fact, we'll probably put it in a B tier maybe, but maybe like a higher B tier, because this set was really, really good, but it did better throughout its lifetime. It wasn't seen as good as it was initially. It had some more awesome stuff as well. I believe it also had Dominus Purge, which was really good. Again, it had the White Force stuff. It was pretty good. In fact, we'll put it in A. We'll still leave it in A tier actually. So it had the best balance of bringing meta relevance and old DM era stuff. Granted, it did really good with those DM era stuff, making an actual deck that you could play competitively, which people did get tops with Exodia. People were playing this deck a ton at locals, and people still like this deck. It's a very collectible deck, and I think that's great. The next set we have here is actually, let's go over this set. It's, you know, something Destruction. I remember what it was called. We're going to put this kind of in... We're going to put this in C. It had Tempai, which was meta relevant, and it had a lot of the Phantom stuff, which was really good. Like, you know, Throne, which was the best card in the set. It had stuff like that, and it's great. Don't get me wrong here, but it did not complete the deck, unlike Terminal Revenge, where they got that Omni Negate. For Yugioh. We had Tempai, like I've said, but then we had a lot of filler. This set kind of fell off. We did have Apprentice Illusion and all that, but this set did not sell as well as people thought it would. This set really did appeal, again, more to the DM era of players, and it didn't do a good job like Infinite Forbidden, where it balanced meta versus you know, old school player, because a lot of these core sets, they're trying to hit a balance between appealing to everybody, the casual player, the collectors, the DM players, and the meta players. This did not hit the balance. This set could neg you pretty badly, but it wasn't per se an awful set. It was just kind of average, especially compared to all these other two sets, which we're actually going to go over right over here. Phantom Nightmare, I believe this was a tier set as well. We had Yugioh introduced, and people were playing that meta relevant wise. We had Promethean, you know what, we have to put it in this. We had Promethean Princess and Poplar in this set. Reinnovated with Yugioh. Goblin Biker is a deck that will not die. Players love playing Goblin Biker. They will never stop playing Goblin Biker. They love this deck. It doesn't matter what you think of the deck. They love this deck. And Goblin Biker at least has some meta relevancy, and still is sticking around to this day. I know they're getting some more cards to become a lot better, but they debuted in here, which was really, really good. You had Voiceless Voice as well, which was a deck that a lot of players loved playing. And you know, Ritual always felt they made a great Ritual deck, especially for that format. Now, Voiceless Voice has fallen off, but it was very good, had a good matchup against Fire, and all you saw was Fire. So, as someone who played Voiceless Voice for a long time, I was blindsided by how that deck had such a good matchup against Fire, because it was all I was playing, and it was kind of hard to compare it to other things. I already mentioned Yugioh. It had a few other things as well. It had a lot of good money supers as well, which was awesome. And, you know, people like that. I believe it also had a little bit of horror support with the one super. I think that was in here as well. The supers were worth a lot of money, and I really like that. Overall, really love this set. Guys, if you have not hit that like button yet, I don't know what you guys are doing. Smash that like button. 80 likes on this video, and let me know what you think so far. It feels like I'm glazing the game, but when I look at it, it's been a very good year for sealed Yu-Gi-Oh. They fixed a lot here, and because they fixed a lot, let's put something else in absolute waste of time, which was the Legacy of this was Legacy of Destruction. Now I remember the name, of course, but Light of Destruction. This was absolute waste of time. The best thing they could have reprinted that wasn't very accessible was a rare, and if you're reprinting an old set and the best reprint is a rare, that's not a good sign. And they ended up putting that rare in Terminal Revenge. That was Substitute. This was really bad. A lot of players were like, oh yeah, or at least on Twitter, were like, yes, we finally get to stick it to collectors, and oh yes, collectors are weeping. It's like, well, this doesn't benefit you. This just harms people who put money in the game. That helps you play the game, and shows Konami that, hey, you should continue caring as much about Yu-Gi-Oh as it did. It didn't hurt collectors' wallets too much, because Unlimited from back then is completely different from Unlimited now, because the ultis in this set look completely different. This set did not sell well. You still see it in Walmarts, Targets, all that, and they didn't even get a lot of this product, believe it or not. I actually looked into it. Some Walmarts and Targets, especially in my area, did not get a ton of this, and a lot of players were just like, why am I buying this? It's a waste of time and money. And that's why some of the singles from this set are still worth money, because there's not much people putting them out there, but they're not selling hot. That's the thing. So we have a inferior product because it is an unlimited of an unlimited. The product quality is bad. The Ghost Rare looks awful. The Ghost Rare really does look like plastic. I've seen the Ghost Rare. It's not good. The ultis, they have new ulti foiling, and you know what? It's not bad. It does not hold a candle to OG foiling at all. It is a complete downgrade, but at least I can appreciate it on its own, not compared to an older ulti, unlike the Ghost Rare. And this set is just waste of time. Did not need to happen. In fact, I think most players forgot that we even got this re-released, or don't think it came out yet. So absolute waste of time. I'm gonna stick by it. Look, if you wanted to get this product to have it sealed on your shelf to look cool, hey, that's awesome. If you want to open this up, or even not even the box, but like the 4 mini boxes that like Walmart, Target, etc. have, and you want to have a little fun with it, hey, I don't blame you at all. Have fun with your product, but waste of time in my opinion. Rage of the Abyss. You gotta put this in S tier as well. The reason you gotta put this in S tier is we've obviously got Fualos, a card that is going to change the game for the rest of its time. We've got Dominus Impulse, which was another card that's amazing, which is technically the better Dominus for a lot of decks. We also got Lordy Load, which shout out to the guy who came to locals asking for people's loads, by the way. Hey bro, you have a load? Yeah, I want your load. Like, context, man. But that's going to be a relevant card for years because of Blue Eyes, and people always love playing Blue Eyes. So that card debuting, same with all the Primite stuff, is really good, especially because we got more Tenyi support. So it's really complementing the old and new stuff at the same time with Primite. Again, the hand traps and the Dominuses. We got a lot of cool water support. Like, we got the Mermail stuff, which Mermail is a fan favorite, so and slash Atlantean. So a lot of people ganged up on that. Absolutely loved it. We got more Fiendsmith stuff to make that engine really good, and you could run Fiendsmith a lot more optimally. It really did complete the deck with Lacrima. Plus, she is an absolute baddie. All right, you know, you could, plus, you know, I'm gonna stop there. Yeah, your boy was about to go off. You had this set overall, which is really good. You also had I believe the Red Eyes card. No, that was an info card, I believe. No, but you also had some Red Eyes support a little bit sprinkled in, which was pretty good. With the Red Eyes Full Metal. You had a lot of other great cards as well, but this was amazing for the meta to set up the future and helped past archetypes to a T while changing its game because of its own staples and giving legacy support to a lot of other decks that really appreciate it. Loved it. A lot of people love the legacy support specifically in here, not just Mermail. I gotta give it an S. Terminal Revenge. As a reprint set, I did really like it a lot. I think personally I'm going to put this I'm gonna put it in B here, and I'm gonna tell you guys why I'm putting it in B. So this set was amazing as a side set because the picks for QCs and reprints were phenomenal, and if you get a QC Magia, Ray, etc., you are winning quite a bit. The problem is though is the legacy support, like for Iceberry and all the other decks, did not pop off as much as people wanted, but you do have a lot of value in the set. Again, with its QCs, you have Flame Crimson, you have the Orcust QCs as well. This is more of a QC or bust. When you look at the base set, yeah, you got Phantom of Yubel, which is great because it helped complete Yubel, but we got an ulti really quickly. The value of opening the set is you can bust very easily as much as you could go 3x, because you could pull a Ray in your case and or a Magia and be up a ton. But if you're not, plus I made a whole video about the Magia problem. I don't like how the card is a QC only. It should have a base secret rare, and it just feels like it's adding it's not adding good value. It's not adding good value just having a card be QC only if it's actually played / wanted with Blue Eyes. Now, there's a lot of builds that aren't even playing this card. I think a lot of players, I don't even know if it's because it's not optimal or not. The card read amazingly to me, but players are just like, yeah, I'll build the deck. The deck's already expensive enough, being as, you know, a lot of money to play optimally. I'm not going to spend $1,000 literally for one copy of Magia. And this set's kind of fallen off a lot faster, but it's still a phenomenal set for the value that's in it. The tins, we're going to put the tins in C tier. The picks were good. The QCs were good, like Bahamut, Excel, all that. They chose some really awesome QCs. The problem is they really downplayed it, because we got Bonanza really quickly, and Little Knight, the best card to pull. That's a staple in Bonanza. Same with Bonfire, Thrust as well was another card. There's probably a few other cards that got reprinted. And while these tins still have some value, it got severely hurt. A lot of people felt ripped off by the tins. Oh, wow. Why did I buy a case of tins, etc.? These were really B tier, maybe even lower A if you wanted to see it that way. But now you got put them in C tier because a lot of the value has been completely hindered. The promos are good, but they're cheap. You can just buy them online and call it a day. So this is overall, it's not some great stuff like Centurion, because it reprints some of the past stuff really well, but it didn't hit everything that it needed to. Like, a lot of the Goblin Biker stuff wasn't reprinted. It missed quite a bit for what it was supposed to, and you still have like Imp Asceti, but like the originals cost not much more, so you might as well just grab those. And if it's failing on a reprint set plus the whole controversy, I gotta put it in C. I can't put it higher. Ignore this meme. The pot collection. Let's have fun with the pot collection before we get into Bonanza and OTS. We're gonna put that in C. I think it's cool, but it's just kind of fan service. You get the pots, you can set them up in your room. It was a pretty big money pre-sale. I think this set would be a lot better if it was cheaper. And this didn't really add anything to the game. This was more like fan service, which is completely fine. This is much, much better than giving us like, oh, get this Platinum Dark Magician or Blue Eyes, and you can put bids online, and it's only going to have 1,000. I would much rather prefer this, something that, hey, if you get to, it can go up over time. There's enough for everybody. Most people are just going to open it because they want to put all the pots as like a little collector thing, and it's awesome because it's unique. I personally really like it, although it's just kind of a gimmicky thing, and there's nothing wrong with it. I actually want them to release more products like this, but I can't really put this in like, oh, this is an above average product, but it's a fine, fun product. Nothing I can really add to it. Bonanza, we're gonna put this in. We're gonna put this in A. I can't put it in S. I'm sorry. I will give you guys the pros and cons. The pros is they separated main set to a nostalgia pool, meaning they made the set a lot bigger, so there's always a lot more value in pulling this. You're gonna pull both main set and nostalgia in your set. The bigger nostalgia set meant they could put stuff that might not be great to put in, but they can hit more people who like it. Like Injection Fairy Lily is a card they would never give love to, but because they had so many slots, they gave it to them. Man-Eater Bug, stuff like that, right? They really gave us a lot of cool DM era stuff that appeals to even, honestly, not just everybody, but it has a lot of value when you open it. And because it does not conflict with the main set, if you are a meta player, pulling this side set stuff or this nostalgia pool can only benefit you in the long run. You want to pull a Dark Magician Gold? Great. All that means, oh, I pulled Dark Magician Gold. Not only do I pull the same main set stuff that I was going to, but I can move this and my box is paid for. And it's lovely to see. The cons, I mean, there's more mains on what picks there are, all that. And it was more reasonably priced than Rarity 2. One thing I didn't like about Rarity 2 was the pre-sale prices. I forgot to mention that, but I think some people might not count that in rating the product overall. Oh, pre-sale prices are bad. That doesn't matter to me. But for Bonanza, the thing I don't like is the main set was easily the worst main set we've ever seen. A lot of people don't understand this, but like Clockwork Knight, like that's wonderful, but like while people want that reprinted, we don't need to see it in 7 rarities. We don't need to see like the Abyss Sharks in there. We don't need to see, like, there was just so many bad ones, like Medolce Salon. Look, I love Medolce. It's my favorite archetype probably in the game. And as much as I love Medolce, we need putting a QC Salon, a card that is played of at 1 pop, max 2, in a deck that you're only playing Medolce on. Putting this in the main set is garbo. That's not good. And there's just so many, like, really bad / weird niche picks, like Salmon Great Circle, like, the list goes on and on how many awful main set picks there are. The main set's really bad. If it was just the main set, I would have no problem putting this in the C to D tier. In fact, I might put it in D just because of how horrendous the misses were. But because of the nostalgia set and how they did it, I'm gonna put this kind of closer to A tier, but this is definitely one of the worst main sets ever. That's why I prefer Rarity 1 over this. Fight me on it. I put this in lower A tier as well, because it's also more nostalgia pandering. This set's not for everybody. In fact, if you want to argue a high B, you can argue a high B. OTS, this is where I get into some fun stuff. So OTS 24, ignore this meme, by the way. I posted this meme on Twitter, by the way, about being done after 3 rounds, and it's like Mike Tyson and Yu-Gi-Oh players. I add this image by accident. So, wow, I don't know how we've been recording for 26 minutes, but well, I want to make this under 30, so I'll go quickly. So, OTS 24. We had Ulti Chaos Angel, Ulti Vanquish Soul, and Ulti Feather Duster. 2 out of 3 great ultis. Vanquish Soul was really bad, and they always have 1 bad ulti. The supers were not bad as well, and I would usually have no problem putting this into a B, possibly as an A tier, but instead we are going to be putting this in low C tier, or lower C tier, because Chaos Angel is an ulti. First of all, we have proc quality and ulti foiling. I made an OTS video about this, especially because of OTS 25 and 26. You guys go check that out on the end card, and I highly recommend you doing so. But they reprinted a lot of the supers that were good as ultras in these tins right here, just destroying their value and wasting time, and not only giving us pack filler, but wasting the value of this. Rock Vanquisher wasn't good, Duster wasn't good, and a lot of these common supers, while they were good, they kind of rendered them useless very quickly. OTS 25, I can easily put this in D tier, by far. In fact, I would consider waste of time very highly, but D tier for OTS 25. I made the video specifically on this. Your ultis, there's no ulti more than $15. You're not making any money on this. The super picks were pretty bad besides Delta. And again, they reprinted stuff like Dino Mundo really quickly in the tins, even faster than 24. So this suffered from the tins. The ulti picks were bad because, for example, Ulti Diviner came out. We got QC Diviner within a week and a half. So we have a lower rarity in this. Exodia, does that mean we're going to get the limbs? No, we didn't get the limbs, so it's not going to match. Very bad nostalgia pandering on this. Awful. Snake Eye Ash got limited really quickly, so we have an ulti of a card that players don't like, limited to 1. Awful fucking picks. Absolute D. I would really want to put this in waste of time, but it served some purpose, so I have to put it in D. But honestly, just know that this is just one of the worst OTSs I've seen. This is the worst OTS we've ever had. This second probably goes to 19. OTS 26, I'm going to put this in D as well. And you guys are probably going to think, why are you putting this in D? So, we had great cards. We had Diabellstar. We had Phantom of Yubel, AK Pisshands. That thing looks ugly. And then we had Low. Here's what I'm going to say. All those cards have a QC, or with like Black Witch has a Platinum. They all have higher rarities before the set came out. Why on earth are we releasing cards that are ulti when they already have higher rarity? Because players think QC looks better, especially because of the ulti foiling, and they consider this lower rarity. So it's like they're reprinting this higher rarity that players don't want to commit to. They'd rather have base rarity or max it. It's really awful. The supers weren't that great. Again, with the ulti foiling, and the value isn't there. Piss Hands is like $8 and looks horrible. That was one of the worst ultis in the game. Low was a little too niche, and we already had QCs. That is a card that should not have had an ulti. Then Phantom of You, the Black Witch does look nice, but we already have Platinum, we have Secrets, we have QC already. Like it should have been something else, and then it was kind of already out of its door. They should have put that in 25 instead of Ash, and 25 would have been better. I have to put it in D. I think OTS is just really bad. Again, I'm going to have the video at the end card right over here, so you can check that out. But this is my tier list. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed. If you guys think that my channel is worth supporting, I do want to start uploading multiple times a week. Consider being a YouTube channel member. I love it when you guys we got 20 channel members, which is awesome. The goal is 25 to 35. I have tiers as low as 2. I want to know what you guys think of this in the comment section below. I'd love to see what your ranks are. We have a hot takes video coming out soon, so be sure of that. The video for OTS will be here, so please go check that out. It's an amazing discussion video. Even if you don't want to subscribe to my content, you got to check that out to know as a player. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.